Hello, everyone. It is Maria. It is Saturday. It's lunchtime now. Sorry. I think it was morning. I almost said morning. If you're out there, hop on, say hello. I'm just actually going live. I have so much I want to share with you over this next week, and I'm trying to find the blocks of time where I can actually do it all. So this morning, I wanted to share a couple pieces of information with you that I just learned myself. I kind of knew, but I didn't realize how big this was. So um, I'm just going to call up my comments. I'm on StreamYard. If you're wanting to comment, say hello. Um, Let me just see if I can do that. Oh, there we go. See, I'm pressing all the right buttons. I'm also testing a new system today to see if it's going to work for next week for when I do the challenge. And so if you're out there, I don't know if you can actually hear me, see me, all that stuff. I'm trying something new. I much prefer my Yeti microphone that I use for podcasting, but I don't know if it actually hooks into StreamYard the same way. So if you're out there and you can hear me, I would love if you say hello and you can hear me. I'm just looking to see if it's not showing up yet. There's a huge delay between the two systems when I do this. So, okay, I'll watch for that in a moment. So, let me get rid of this too. I was prepping. I'm still doing some prep work for next week because I got 3 full days. As you know, when I do these challenges, workshops, trainings, whatever you want to call it, I go all in. I want to give you as much as I possibly can. And I was looking up something. I was actually looking up something for myself this morning. So this morning or last night, I was sitting in bed with my iPad and I was Googling stuff because I was looking for my own self-care. As a former health coach and nutritionist, I really like leaning into that part of my life and I really want to do more of it. And I just feel, well, to say there's some room for improvement when it comes to my own well-being. And so I want to Google some stuff. And I'm just going to see if I can see this on here. No, it's not coming up on here. Like I said, I'm testing this system today to see if it's actually working properly and you can actually see me. There it is. I just want to see if I can actually get the audio to come through. Oh, it is. It is. Perfect. So I'm going to keep going. So if you're out there, you can say hello. I can see comments now. When you're on StreamYard, it doesn't always show up that well. So I was Googling stuff on wealth and health. So as we know that there's a saying that says, like health is wealth and health is a new wealth and things like that. And as I was Googling some of these things, I was flabbergasted because I always know that when you have money, you can have better health. You have the ability to, like for myself, I have naturopaths, which are all privately funded, right? It doesn't come through health insurances and things like that. It is something that you have to do on your own. You can probably have better dental care. You have many more options. You can have treatments for yourself. You can get sometimes things faster, which is a horrible thing to say because our medical system does not serve us well. That's not what this is all about. But I had an issue, it was right at the start of the pandemic. I was having some abdominal issues. I had an injury it was like where your organs are. So I said, I don't know if this is organs or if it's an injury. Well, because of the pandemic, it was months to get into the hospital to get a test here in Canada. And because I had money, I was able to go spend $500 and go get the ultrasound done immediately to get that sorted out. Now, I know there's lots of controversy on that. And I think I truly believe it, everybody should have access to whatever they need whenever they need it. That's not the case in the world that we live in. And so because I had money, I was able to do that. I don't want to get into semantics whether or not that's right or wrong, because I think everyone should have it. So I understood it from that point that when you have more money, you can actually typically have better health. Now here's the other thing too. This is what sort of precipitated this whole conversation, this whole, Googling thing that I went down, that Wealthier people actually look after themselves more, and that actually helps them create more wealth. That's the wealthier getting wealthier, right? They look after themselves. And so it's a really interesting phenomenon. And I know many people get offended by this. And that's a mindset in itself. But here's the thing. When I was Googling all this stuff, oh God, I have a finance background. So stats and numbers, I dive into that stuff because that's my world, right? It's my jam. And what I came across was wealthier people, no, the top 10% versus the bottom 10%. Okay, that's what we're looking at. That's what this graph is doing. 12 years difference in lifespan. 12. It's more than a fucking decade. Sorry, I'm swearing. I got all riled up with it. Because like a decade, like 12 years. What can you, I mean, that's a lot of life. Now, here's the thing too. When you're putting a lot of effort into your health, those older aging years, having longevity, it's one thing, but you want to be healthy too. You don't want to be bedridden for 20 years when you've aged. You want to be healthy and wealthy and live long, and it's all got to be there together, right? It's not they're not individual. You need all of them. You want to be wealthy, you want to be healthy, and you want that longevity. They all go together. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this whole conversation. This is not, I didn't want to lean into something that was maybe a little bit controversial today, but I didn't realize the gap was so big. And I didn't get into all the semantics. I will be looking at the studies and all the stuff that go with it. The couple pieces I came across which is really interesting. People that are not wealthy typically smoke more, drink more, which, in effect, I mean, there's addiction issues there, which I'm not going to get into here either, because they kind of perpetuate themselves. And I saw it in my own family that consumes so much money. If you could actually use that money to build wealth just for those two items, it's huge. But there's generational struggles of money and trauma and all those things that have people stuck in that space. And some of the stuff I want to do and get into and work into is lean into that. How do you help people out of that space? People need to want to get out of that space, but how do you reach those people? So that is some of my background work, building foundations and things like that. That's the stuff I want to lean into. I truly believe everybody should be wealthy, and particularly women. Women live longer than men, but that gap on those charts were still that big space for men and women. And if I'm going to live long, I want to be healthy. I don't want to be bedridden at 80. I don't want to be bedridden in my 70s. I want to be active. And you know what? Like, I've really leaned into some getting my body, like the movement side of my body this year. And I tell you, it hasn't been pretty. When I, just do some basic yoga on the floor, and it's like I used to do extensive amounts of yoga, and I had a strong, healthy body, and I haven't done that for the last several years. I'm active, but not to that level. And it was an eye opener. So that was, what sort of prompted me. It's like, how do I take all of this to the next level? What do I need to do? What do I need to invest in myself? Now, here's the thing, even if this is a wealth mindset too. Wealthy people have the mind, they invest in themselves. They look after themselves. Yes, partly because they have money, but they also do it before they have money. They know that to have money and to be healthy and wealthy and all that, they need to start over here. It's just baked into who they are as a person. That is one of the key components, the key mindsets of a wealthy person. That's just what they believe in. So I'm here to help you shift your mindset, shift those paradigms to be wealthier. I want you to be, here's the thing. You think about if you had 12 more years of life and a lot of money, what could you do with that? What could you do with that? How many people could benefit because you are wealthier? Even if it's not on longevity, just because you have more money, how many more people can benefit because of that? Think about that. If you're a coach or in the online world, or it depends on what kind of business, nonprofits, like all those things, I want to build a nonprofit myself. And it takes money to do that. I love money. And yes, I want to have some nice things. But, for me, it's not having 27 cars. I want to serve bigger and more in this world. Yes, I'm going to have some nice things. I will. I'm okay with that. I believe also still in minimalism and not excess. That's just my value system. However, I've totally derailed and got on a soapbox this morning. This afternoon, I guess it is. But I wanted to reach out to you and talk about that, because I was surprised. Like I knew there was going to be a difference, but I didn't realize 10, 12 years was the difference between the two wealth brackets. So, being a money coach and a mindset coach, success coach, all those things, I do it with the intention of not just making money. It's about being fulfilled in life, serving this world in a bigger way. It's intentional. And with that, next week I have another event going on. I'd love to invite you to. If you haven't already registered, I'd love to have you to the Financial Freedom Formula Workshop next week. It's 3 days where we're diving into all things manifesting, money mindset, and I'm bringing back a component on debt. I haven't taught debt in quite a few years, and freedom from debt, that is. And so I brought that back in because I did a poll in my group, and I was astounded by the number of people that checked the box for that. So I'm bringing it back in because people need that right now. With the economy the way it is, and our mindsets of immediate gratification these days, and a whole bunch of stuff that goes with it, inflation, all of it together. A lot of people can be in a not great financial position because of that. So I'm leaning into that a little bit more on this challenge. What else is on my list today? Yeah, the workshop. The other thing I'm doing this time is I wanted to, I don't know how to word this. I wanted to give more, basically, and help you get more out of the 3 days of the event next week. And so this weekend, I've opened up 10 spots to do 20-minute laser coaching sessions, strategy sessions with people to help them get the most out of next week. And I think I've got more than 10 spots I've opened up, but that's what I'm kind of working with for now. And they're complimentary. They're not a sales pitch, by no means. It's to help you set up for next week, where to really lean in and focus on, give you some extra tools and tips to work with. I'm here to serve this week above anything else. Yes, I'll be putting out an offer there. I always do. That's what we do when we're serving and kind of feed myself too, right? But serving comes first. And, even I've had people that go to these workshops of mine for the last 2 years, 3 years, and they sign up could be a couple of years later. Maybe they never do, because I give them enough tools and stuff to work with to be the catalyst for them to take action in their own life. And I'm okay with that. And if it fits for you that you want to work with me through this next while, that's great too. I believe in permission marketing, permission sales. I just recorded a YouTube video on that whole thing. And so I really want to serve the best I can and help you get the most out of next week's workshop. And I think that's about it. I love this because I make all these notes for myself, but I actually can't read my own writing. That says healthier older years is what it said. Because, like I said, it's one thing if you have money and it's one thing if you're healthy. You need all of it to be there with you with longevity. One of the things I've leaned into hugely when I talked about my own self-care and stuff was for longevity. I want to live a lot of years. I want to be around for grandkids. I want to play with them. I don't want to be bedridden when I get to see them. I want to be active. I want, one of my colleagues down in Texas, she has a It was for her granddaughter, and her granddaughter got to a certain age, and she took her traveling. Like they had grandma and granddaughter day out somewhere. I can't remember what they did, not day, but they went for like a weekend, and they had this big excursion together. That's what I aspire for. She can do that because she's healthy and she's wealthy and she's living her best life. So I want you to think about what wealth can do for you and where you're at in your whole wealth mindset. And if you feel like, wealthy are horrible people, wealthier get wealthier, and the poor get poorer, and you're in that a lack mindset, I invite you to join us next week and see if you can, work on transitioning that mindset so you can live your best life and live a wealthier life and have what you want and desire and you're worthy of. You can have whatever you want. You're worthy of whatever you want. I wish I could say you're worthy of world peace. Everyone's worthy of it, but whether or not it's going to happen is another story. But the things that you desire in a big way, they're yours. And I'm there to help you be the catalyst for you. And so with that, we're going live 3 nights next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And love to have you join us there. I'll put some links down below where these videos are. You can register. I do lots of different activities. I like to do a little gamification where we have some competition and prizes and things like that. Because it's not just about me getting on my soapbox. I want you to take action. It doesn't mean anything for me just to spew and be heard. I want you to actually take action. Use the tools I'm giving you and do something with it. That's why I'm doing it. Okay? For your benefit, not for me. So with that, have an amazing weekend. And if you register, you'll get a letter, a couple email registration things get you going. And you should get the email that says, do you want to book a 20-minute session? They're complimentary. It's not a sales pitch. It's just me serving. So if you want that, hop in, register. I've only got so many open. There's 68 people at the time of hopping on here that are registered already. I've only got 10 spots. There's probably a few more in there just because of the way I set up time blocks, because I do 20 minutes, that's 3 an hour. There's more than 10, do the math. But also knowing that a lot of people are going to look at their emails, which kind of, it's not great. But it might not be, people might not be available or have things going on throughout the weekend and the time spots that I've opened up. So, love to see you in one of those calls. I like to get to know you and be a catalyst for you for whatever it is that you want in this world. With that, have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.